Hey friends, April's finally bringing an end to the retrograde madness we've been processing for months. But don't get too comfortable just yet. Mercury and Mars are entering some complex territory this month that's going to require your full awareness to navigate successfully. Stay with me and I'll guide you through exactly how to work with these energies. But let's start with the big headline news this month. Neptune has finally moved into Aries. I've been anticipating this transit for years, ever since I first encountered Stan Barker's fascinating 1984 book, The Signs of the Times, where he explores Neptune's historical expressions through the signs. Here's why this matters. We haven't experienced Neptune in Aries since the US Civil War era, so this is genuinely historic. Neptune's sign reveals our cultural vibes and collective spirit. We can see this clearly through the art, music, film, and creative expression during any Neptune cycle. So the no-brainer prediction here is that we're on the threshold of a major cultural vibe shift. With Neptune in Aries, don't be surprised if rock music makes a comeback, films get edgier and more innovative, and we collectively hunger for forward momentum and progress. We'll see an increase in the drive to experience the new, the hunger for fresh starts, the passion for the open road. Maybe road trips will make a comeback. And maybe we'll explore other new frontiers, both external and internal. Think of spiritual exploration and innovation too with Neptune in Aries. Aries energy is straightforward, where Pisces is complex. This is welcome news as the collective has devolved into murky territory under Neptune in Pisces, where the phrase alternative facts became a thing. Aries calls BS on alternative facts and has a more straight-up approach. With Aries, what you see is what you get. But this is still Neptune, so let's not take that idea too far. When someone's misusing Neptune and Aries energy for deception, for instance, they can do that with full awareness. While in Pisces, we could imagine someone falling prey to a lack of clarity, or getting confused by mixed messages, or even believing their own lie. Stan Barker noticed something fascinating about the time period of the Civil War. There was a battle fought in a conflict over a union. That union was formed in the previous Neptune and Libra cycle of 1783, when the Treaty of Paris granted 13 US colonies independence. Will there be another battle this time in response to a union formed under the previous Neptune and Libra cycle? One union that comes to mind here from that period is NATO, formed with a stellium in Aries opposite Neptune in Libra. So let's keep a close watch there. Now, getting to the title of this video, my friend Vanessa Montgomery has been using the phrase peak unicorn to describe Neptune's time in Pisces. So how perfect is it that just days before Neptune shifted into Aries, we saw the release of the film Death of a Unicorn. This is like a cosmic punctuation mark to the end of an era. As we transition from the expansive fantasies of Neptune in Pisces to Neptune in Aries, we might find ourselves longing for leadership. This brings both opportunity and risk. We might idealize or fantasize about a leader who could save us. And we may project our desires onto those figures who step into leadership roles. On the positive side, we might witness inspiring courage from people who do choose to lead on behalf of the collective. On the negative side, we might see leaders who intentionally manipulate others through deception, abusing the idealism of that collective projection. I'll talk about this more over the next few months. But there's more to the story this month. By the end of April, Saturn's going to come within 3 degrees of its conjunction with Neptune, and that's closer than it's been so far. This aspect offers us a chance to see through illusions, both collective and personal. Saturn-Neptune aspects often reveal deceptions. They force us to sober up from escapist tendencies. For some of us, this means painful disillusionment as we get a rude awakening from our state of denial. But Saturn also offers solid ground here, if we're willing to face reality and build a more authentic foundation. My advice is to start surveying your information environment now. Disrupt your algorithm by creating a new YouTube profile. Or better yet, seek out news sources committed to straightforward reporting without the spin. Think about a Gemini style of news that might just report events without any commentary. Take an inventory of your biggest ideals. What part of that big dream could you actually do something about? With Saturn conjunct Neptune, channel your ideal version of the father archetype this year to the best of your ability, with personal responsibility and accountability, with clear seeing and pragmatism. I'm curious to see if Stoicism gains even more popularity this year. Check out Ryan Holiday's Daily Stoic blog if you want to see what that movement's all about. Now, switching gears, there's a fascinating Mars story unfolding this month too, as it moves toward an opposition with Pluto around April 18th to 26th. Well, let's break that down. Mars starts out April in Cancer and still out of bounds for a few days, forming a trine with Saturn and Venus around April 4th to 6th. On the 5th, the Moon joins in, also out of bounds, and conjunct Mars, while both are trine that Venus-Saturn conjunction in Pisces. So what does that mean for you? Emotions might run high for sure, but they're tempered by Saturn's structure and Venus's softness. So you might look for access to genuine warmth with healthy boundaries. Think that kind of tough love that you need at just the right moment. Accept support from wise mentors or elders during this time. You might take a decision to act defensively in order to protect or defend someone or something for all the right reasons. These planets form a talent triangle by sextiling Uranus, adding potential for breakthrough or liberation from restriction. We could also see guidelines established in defense of freedom. Now, if you have planets around 25 degrees of water signs, there are creative opportunities here. For those with planets around 25 degrees of the fixed signs, this might just be your moment to break old patterns with supportive energy. So look out for that support and take action. Now that's Act 1, but Mars has a second act this month starting around April 17th when it shifts into Leo, changing state from sensitivity into passionate creativity. This might manifest as more self-oriented expression. There might be a stronger drive to pursue what you want and a touch of dramatic flair with your action or your libido. For the shadow side, Mars in any fixed sign struggles to let go of what it wants. This is the spoiled child archetype. Mars in Leo can invoke temper tantrums from our inner Veruca Salt, who wants what she wants now. That frustration is real, but a little time and wisdom will teach any Mars and Leo person that patience is a virtue, and sometimes the universe will bring us something even better than what we thought we wanted if we'll just settle down for a bit. Hold that thought as we weave in another character from Act 2 of Mars. Tension builds around April 18th as Mars moves into opposition with Pluto. This is the personal will facing off against primal power. Imagine an unarmed person confronting a lion. That power differential is palpable. True wisdom with Mars involves knowing when to fight and when to back down. With Pluto as the opponent, charging ahead without respecting what you're up against probably isn't wise. That said, sometimes challenging powerful forces is necessary because it's right. Think about David and Goliath here. Sometimes the underdog wins against all odds. Could that be you? The Sun in Taurus joins this dynamic between April 19th and 23rd, forming a tense T-square. With all three planets in fixed signs, compromise might be hard to come by. Ego could become an obstacle. But on the flip side, stubborn determination might be exactly what's needed. You'll need to discern which one of those applies in your situation. The message may very well be to hold your course. But there's more than one story in Act 2 of Mars. There's a subplot from Mercury aspecting Neptune all month long. Hard aspects between Mercury and Neptune can feel like Mercury retrograde 2.0, especially when they come right after Mercury retrograde, which can feel a little more like a Mercury retrograde hangover. Neptune fogs Mercury's glasses, asking us to rely on intuition and nonlinear information as we navigate our mental landscape. During Mercury-Neptune times, pay attention to signs, omens, and synchronicities. Lean in on your felt sense when your logic seems cloudy. This is a great time to develop your ability to sense energetic patterns in the field. The trick here is getting your analytical brain to take a back seat. Objectivity might be hard to come by under Mercury-Neptune aspects like this conjunction, and we have to imagine that that's the whole point. There's another layer of truth here that we can't tap into without softening that boundary between us and the limits of known reality. Here's the timeline for this. On April 6th, Mercury forms a parallel to Neptune, and for those new to declination, a parallel is read pretty much like a conjunction. On April 7th, Mercury stations direct, but mental clarity might remain somewhat elusive still because of this Mercury-Neptune dynamic. On April 16th, Mercury enters Aries, and it makes its final conjunction with Neptune this year. With both planets in Aries by mid-month, instinct becomes your guide. Aries helps push through any residual Piscean inertia. You might make mistakes here in communication by moving too quickly, but that gain in momentum might just be worth it. Just apologize and move on. Mercury in Aries can be impatient, and it isn't really suited to long bouts of deliberation. In declination, Mercury's crossing 0 this month, which some astrologers read as a change in state, adding even more to this Mercury weather pattern. On April 20th, we get another Mercury-Neptune parallel, and on April 25th, Mercury makes a contraparallel to Neptune. So one warning here, those with ulterior motives will use this energy for deception. Now, if you sense manipulation or harmful intent from someone in your sphere, you might need to trust your intuition and instinct over whatever the apparent facts are at the time in order to get out of a tough spot. Mars comes back down from its out-of-bounds state around April 7th, but keep an eye out on the Moon's out-of-bounds periods this month. The Moon will be out of bounds April 2nd through 6th in Gemini and Cancer, April 17th through 21st in Sagittarius and Capricorn, and once more April 29th and 30th from very late Taurus into Gemini. Now, these periods amplify lunar energy and push emotions into uncharted territory. If you track lunar movements yourself, pay attention to these dates this month. Notice how the Sagittarius moon might feel especially bold, or how the Capricorn moon intensifies personal responsibility, especially if these align with your lunar return. Well, that's it for the cosmic forecast for April. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. If you found this forecast valuable, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment about which transit you're most curious about, or share any insights about that Mars retrograde period we just came out of. I'd love to hear from you.